I guess that I admire that a lot, that you've been trying so hard to stay present, because I feel like there's this tiny light that's being smothered and that you've been desperately trying to grow it into a fire again.
A fire.
And like the fact that we've progressed in any way positively and that you're still like getting out of bed even has been really impressive. So I guess I'm not really even that focused on our relationship in a way. Mine is like, how can I support you? Because like you need to focus on your relationship with you and like rebuilding your family. What does intimacy mean to you in our relationship?
I feel like we've talked about this before, where like, that's something I learned from church like years and years and years ago, that the word intimacy like essentially means into me you see, and I think that like that's such a beautiful concept to think about, and I think that, and sort of just like generally for me, that's exactly what it means. It's just like this window into like who I am as a person and like how I exist and like how I show up and the things that I do and like why, and just this like fuller, I guess, understanding of like self.
Yeah.
I think I had to learn how to have intimacy with myself before I could really have it with anyone else, because you can't really see me if I don't see me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I definitely think, to me, it has always meant connection and acceptance and like being together. And it, like, I've always seen you and like wanted to be with you, and so I think when we put that label on our relationship, to have you kind of take a step back to us was always like challenging, because I was like, where's Miranda? And so it's been really nice to just, I feel like intimacy, even though like it's probably not the case for like most people who would look into our relationship, we've been the most intimate that we've ever been.
Would you ever consider us dating again? Why or why not? We've talked about this so many times.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Like, I always think that I want us to date again, I think, when I think of it objectively. But I guess it's hard to say because of who we are now. Like, we're learning so much about our relationship that, like, changing the foundation of our communication and learning, like, how much our communication has just been, like, miscommunication. And, like, how different we are and why that's created so much conflict and, like, perceptions that are, like, I don't know if we put that label on that again, if it would become another situation where we would feel hemmed in, or some of those things we're conditioned to believe we need to be would become triggered again. Because I think it is hard to like be who we want to be with like that in the back of our minds, like this is how you're supposed to be when you're dating. And like that's hard to challenge, so it's hard to even answer that question now. I'm not really ready to even think about like how that would look or how I would overcome some of the challenges that would come up from that terminology. And like I definitely want to be like together forever in some iteration, but I don't know like if it would be that traditional way or what. But I mean, I feel really confident in our relationship and like whatever that is. I don't think we have language for it all the way, but yeah, I think like objectively yes, I guess, like, but also maybe not, because I don't know if we could be the way we want. with that. How did our relationship change over the last year in ways you didn't expect?
Oh my gosh, let me count the ways. In the last year, I think that there's a lot more distance than I think I expected. I feel like I have always been like really good at being close to people and like letting people in and like being vulnerable. And I think for me, in the last year, I've created a lot more separation there between us, where I feel like I'm less inclined to be like as vulnerable as I like would normally allow myself, or like as intimate as I would normally allow myself. But I don't know that I would have expected it to be as like uncomfortable as it has been, because that is like so natural for me to be like really like lovey and touchy and like sweet and close. I think our like current living situation with like so many people in the one house has really helped with that a lot. Well, it's allowed me to like exercise the like not doing that so much, where I'm like, everybody needs something all the time. And it's like, it's not my responsibility to like give you or anyone else what they need. It's my responsibility to give me what I need. And so being able to exist in a space with so many people all the time and having and getting to only like concern myself with my needs, and not have everyone around me be like, what about what I need? Is really valuable. And
I think it's been a huge growth for both of us, and like for me at least, in the trust department, because I think before I didn't trust that we could both just exist, and it felt like a lot of internal pressure too, like you were always watching or something, like, do you need to do
like, exactly, because I was like, what does Susan need?
And I was like, just take care of yourself, it's okay.
Just go away.
So it's been so like refreshing to just trust that you do know what you need and that you'll take it. And I think it's been really freeing for both of us. It's been like really liberating to just be able to do our own thing in a way that I think it was really necessary for our relationship to change, so that we could be in the places we are for everything that's happened.
I guess that's something else that's changed too, though, is like removing everyone else and their drama and stuff and expectations and perceptions of our relationship from our relationship. Like, it's not yours. Like, back up off me. And like, it doesn't have to look like some like storybook fairy tale or somebody's like movie title expectation of what reality is supposed to be. Like, your reality is like whatever you create it to be, and mine looks very different from ours. Like, our realities look very different from like most people that we know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's just like the box thing, like people are always trying to put other people in boxes, and I don't belong in there. I'm not cut out for that. So
if this were to be our last conversation, what's one thing you'd never want me to forget?
This is the question we were talking about. You know, I have thought about this question literally since we talked about it, and there's like not really anything that I can like there's nothing that like comes to mind where I'm like, oh, don't forget this. I guess like the one thing that has like come up where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that has been like love and appreciation of self. Like that's something that I feel like I remind you of regularly, where I'm like, hey, can you please be nice to Susan, because she deserves like love and respect. And I think that that's something that I see you struggle with, that I would like for you to remember and hold on to, and know that like, yeah, that person that you see looking back at you in the mirror deserves like all of the kindness and love that like you give to other people. And it's important to remember that.
Yeah, I've always been grateful for that. That, you know, you've always reminded, I think that's helped me heal a lot, is to remind me that I'm super awesome, because I know that. But also there's certain aspects of my history where I'm like ashamed or I've struggled with, and to be able to embrace those as well, I think you've helped me with a lot. And I guess that's kind of what I want for you as well. Like, I guess we talked about it, but I think with the past year in like your life, I guess it's been so hard in some ways, and you've always been so resilient and strong. And I know that you are strong in that, but what I would want you to not forget is just when we were in Maine and there wasn't any of that stuff, and it was just you and the earth and like this like unfettered joy of being, like through all of this stuff that has kind of dampened your light, and through all the pain that you'll have to carry, I hope that you would never forget that you also have that joy. Yeah.
Hey, if you really enjoyed that video, and you also want to see what else we're doing at The Skin Deep, follow our newsletter at theskindeep.com/subscribe.